What's up, guys? Good morning. So, a few things today that I want to touch up on. As I'm growing as a trader myself, there are a lot of things I'm doing a research on, right? The mind never stops growing. So, I've been reading up a lot of things. And With now that the has been the hot topic lately, the last few months, just want to go over a little bit, right? Before we go over SPX, number one, the title for today, volatility. This is a volatile market, right? If you catch the right moves in the right direction, even for the next 10 minutes, you can make a lot of money, right? In my stock life, we provide you with certain levels, and then obviously we do our own research, and however the market is behaving, put all the puzzle pieces together that what might happen. Gold, if you guys remember, if you guys remember that this chart, now most of you guys who have been with us for more than 1 year or whatnot, on this chart, myself and my admins, we've been going over this for the last few months. We started going over this back here in October, September of last year, basically, when this multi-year cup and handle was forming, right? We gave you guys this long, and if you took any of those gold longs for 2023 leaps, the reason we recommended leaps because gold is something that can go sideways for even 5, 6, 7 months, and time passes, and then all it takes is just 1, 2 months for a spike up, right? And this right here, basically, the game is not over yet. This is just starting. If you understand the markets, this rise in gold spike is just starting, so you have no idea what's about to come in the coming months. The market is not going to do great, I can tell you right now. If you're trying to buy the dip in the market, you're new, just like I was, a few years back. I did not understand, but just know this, that if gold starts spiking, the market can obviously go up, but there's some red flags, and then you gotta pay attention on oil also. But gold bull flag is finally working. If you're in any of LB's calls or my calls or gold calls that one team may have recommended maybe in the past few months, I don't know. Any of our admins or moderators or somebody in recommended any calls that are in gold, they're up huge. Right, I do have some 2023 calls in one of my accounts. I'll see how they're doing now, but gold is breaking out, and as long as we 175 held is 200 will be fast. It was given to you a few weeks back. So congrats on the gold. And now back to SPX. And one thing that I want to talk about, let's go over this: the U.S. debt collect. Now this does not have anything to do with the levels or what I'm going to share, but here are some things that I want to talk about on inflation. Right now, the Fed always comes in and says they're working on inflation, they'll help all this and blah blah and whatnot. But do you really think they're in for you? They're not. They're not, right? I mean, as much as they provide us, but they also take more back away from us. So all the money they gave back during the COVID or anything that in Canada or on America, the checks they handed out, they're gonna take much more back from you in these coming months, and you will actually be in debt or maybe owe more money, right? And so basically, U.S. debt here, it shows about $30 trillion, right? I mean, this is 30 trillion, right? The revenue from here, you guys can go over these numbers. But in order for them to pay this debt back, inflation helps them, right? When inflation goes high, the value of the dollar decreases, and that basically lowers their debt. So the government may actually want inflation where you think that they're trying to help. They're not. If they can raise more inflation, they will, because their debt goes down. And with oil going up so high, the tax revenue for the oil, I think it probably will double this year with the way the prices are. So imagine their revenue, how much it's going to increase. But that also, they earn their money from tax revenue, whatnot, with all this inflation, and the debt that they owe, they're going to pay back. Now, in the 1930s, I was reading some articles this morning. I woke up really early. The government, when they were selling bonds, it actually helped people. People made money off purchasing bonds at that time in 1930. I'm going back 90 years now, right? Where government was paying them, people made money, but then slowly the government got smarter, right? Obviously, then they saw that people are making money off us. How about we make money off people, right? And then eventually, people that were purchasing bonds were no longer making enough money because of inflation. The value of their dollar was decreasing, while the U.S. Put that money somewhere else to make them more money, right? You guys can do more research. There's a lot to go into this, but that was just my 1-2 minutes on inflation. Just give you guys a little hint for you guys to think on this. And now it's up to you how much research you put in and what to understand. And we'll go. So that was my just 1-2 minutes on inflation. That why the government may want inflation. And to go over some SPX levels now. The overnight we have some lows that we hit. So let's go on futures. Let's go over S&P. Right. So overnight we hit these lows right here, which were roughly a 41.38. Right. On S&P 500, near the lows that we had. Just sometime back. On February last month. The question is, do we continue holding this? Do we see another rally back towards 4,300 or not? Based on our levels, 4,300 will be very hard resistance now, and 4,000 and 4,100 will be very strong support levels. If you're trying to catch a dip in this market, if you're trying to catch a bounce in this market, that bounce might just remain at the support levels. You might not get that 5%, 10% bounce that you may be looking for, and then once the market takes a turn, you could be stuck in those names for a long time. What do I mean by this? Always know the possibilities. People that were trying to catch a dip here for 5-10%, S&P did not see a new high for many years to come after, right? This is something that we're preparing you right now. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a possibility that can take on place. All right, just keep this in mind. So if S&P does continue staying here, we might get these small bounces, and then we give up again in the coming months. If that scenario builds up, that your bounce is not going to come for a long time, and many of the stocks that you guys think are going to go back up are not going to go back up. All these big names that we had last 1-2 years, these popular names like Zoom, T-Dog, these names can be done for many more years to come. Just know this is a possibility. I'm not saying they cannot go back up, but for many years they might not go back up. So don't end up getting your money stuck in there. All right, make sure you do your proper research and make sure the companies are fundamentally strong, the ones that will come out of this dip in the coming months, and that can actually reverse. Don't just throw your money into something. I came across one chart on as I was researching. Some of you guys might have seen this. JNPR, this stock also got sold out. This is only and it's been sideways for many months. This is the same may happen with many companies. They might go sideways for many years, and many of them will. You guys will see it. After 5 years, you come back, you're gonna see some of those names. Man, what the hell? This name was so high, 6 years ago I used to trade, but now it's been sideways for so long. So don't get your money stuck in here. All right, just this. And now back to SPX. So the levels, I'm just gonna write them out. And if you guys found the comments helpful, please do like and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't until yet. But SPX right here, the structure is totally bearish, right? This selling right here, I don't see a bounce coming here. There's increased volume in selling here. There are more sellers here than buyers in here, right? Bucky can go over. We might get a one-day hold here. I'm not saying we cannot. I hope we get a one-day hold because I want some entry, and we might bear flag here today, tomorrow, and then there's likely another flush coming. All right, unless we hold these levels strong and we go back above 4,300, I will see the chart as holding strong. All right, so just keep an eye on that. And some level numbers on SPX that I have here are 41.49 and 40.50 as support. If 41.49 breaks, by the way, 4,100 is also not a stop. It's probably if 4,100 breaks, the next support is 4,050. All right, and then our resistance levels that we have is 420.28 and 4,300. All right, and of course in between this level is important to, I think, 42.80, I believe. I'll go right after. And so these are some of the levels, but obviously we'll trade our charts live on voice chat, and then we see what happens. Amazon, what a great entry, man. What an amazing entry. While people were calling bull flags in the market, we got puts here in our group, right? We have 1-2 killers traders in our group, and those puts went from 6 to 40 yesterday, right? I think the last runner Bucky sold was at 38, so congrats on that, right? Yash, he was on Amazon puts as well. Yash, congrats, amazing play. And Amazon's, I think, down pre-market, and this just does not look good. This waterfall pattern does not look good. This is increased selling right here, and we might flag here for some time, bear flag, and then there's a good chance we likely break down. So let's go on the weekly on Amazon and see where we're headed, maybe. Yep, right to the 200 moving day average. All right, just don't get stuck buying a bounce here. They gave us the bounces last 2 weeks. Don't ignore these bounces. These bounces already happened. All right, right here, Jan 24th, 31st, and then the bounces already happened. If you're expecting a bounce here, just look at the chart, zoom out a little bit, right? Maybe we might get it, but we're likely to flag here. So if you're gonna buy calls in this market with VIX above 27, you still have not understood. You're being stubborn. You're in love with the stocks. I was the biggest bull on Amazon. I'm still the biggest bull on Amazon, but right now I'm gonna trade what's real. All right, I love this stock more than any of you guys, but right now it's headed lower. As simple as that. That's how I see it. All right. And Google also, they announced a split, and man, this chart looks ugly. It looks damn ugly. I think it's headed towards 23,400. and then we see what happens in April or May, June. Maybe in the summer comes, we might get a little bounces, we'll play the call side, and then the charts will set up again, and then we're probably headed more lower coming months again. All right, the Fed doesn't really have no more money. I mean, they can print as much as they want, but obviously they cannot do that too much. Then they're just going to screw up the economy as a whole. Was it 1939, I believe, in Germany when people were burning their currency, right? Everything is going to shit. Obviously, it's not going to happen again. The systems are much stronger, where the world is much smarter. I don't think that's going to happen now, but just keep these things in mind. But Google also looks disgusting on the weekly unless we end up making a reversal, but I do think it visits this level right here, 2400. And come end of March, maybe I'll add some for the earnings run. So we might get a little earnings run on Google, right? Which is possible on the split, and then we see what happens in the coming months. I have no idea. Apple, this stock right here, 160 hold, continue basing, 160 breaks, watch out, right? So now 160 has broken, the weekly looks disgusting, a lot of selling going on. And this name might hold here for a bit, but I think it's very, personally, if I was to, if you ask me one stock that I would buy in the market right now, what position would I take? It would be Apple puts, all right? So keep an eye on Apple. We're probably going to attack the 50 MA, which is roughly 150, and buy 3-4 weeks out maybe, right? And next week will be really important. We have FOMC plus OPEX, two major events in the same week, all right? So the market is going to be really volatile, I think. So let's see how that works out, all right? So Apple, under 160, I think it goes much lower. Maybe you can do put spreads. Buy the 160 puts and sell the 155 puts, and you can get them for $2, I think. And as long as Apple stays your basis lower, you can lock in some profits. All right, or you can adjust. PBR, Yash, you wanted to go over this stock. I do like this name. I think energy stocks are doing great. Petroleum, obviously, now you made some comments that the Brazilians want to keep their prices low, but how long can they really keep them low for, right? For how long? You're absolutely right. So on PBR, I would probably buy some time, maybe at least 3 to 4 months out, because they can still base here. Sometimes the decision is not reached for a long time. So I would not go near dated. I would go at least 3 to 4 weeks or months out, right? And then for this to play out. All right, just keep it in mind. And what else we have here? XLE energy has just been ripping, right? We're near resistance. I don't think it stops here anytime soon. The breakout is just starting here. We might bull flag here. So at the end of March, April, while the S&P gets the one green month where the market is going to hold, this is probably going to flag, right? So you have to already understand these charts, the way they're forming. This is likely going to, energy sector is likely going to flag maybe for 1-2 months. People are going to get bulled up. S&P is going to have one green month. People are going to buy dips. And what's going to happen in June, July is going to break their hearts again. Remember these comments that I made now. They're going to come back into play in June, July, right? So in this market, trade away, take your profits. No need to force, no need to fall in love with anything. Make your money, get the hell out. Simple as that, all right? And if you're holding anything overnight, unless it's puts and you're short, fine. But if you're holding calls overnight, you still are not able to understand this market fully, I think. You might nail it. It's better to miss a play than to hold something that does not make sense. All right, when it's time for buying calls, we'll be there. All right, we will get some few weeks of bullishness. We will get some few good green weeks. It's gonna come. Market does not go straight down. It's gonna give us some rips. We will catch them when the time comes. But right now, it's not the time. All right. God bless. That's my little take on the market for now, and that's pretty much it. Wake up in the morning. So I've been reading a lot lately to understand the macro views of the market, and man, they're helping. Trust me, they help a lot. And I'll see you guys back in the chat.